Have you ever walked away from a family gathering feeling completely drained? And not just tired, but emotionally exhausted, frustrated, maybe even invisible? Like no matter what you said or did, it somehow wasn't enough. Or it was twisted into something it was never meant to be? If that sounds familiar, there's a chance you're dealing with a narcissistic in-law, and if so, you are definitely not alone. Narcissistic in-laws can cause deep, lasting stress within a marriage. They might manipulate conversations, guilt-trip your spouse, create drama, or insert themselves into your personal decisions. What's worse, when your partner doesn't see it, or worse, defends it, it can make you feel isolated and even question your own reality. For people already dealing with betrayal, emotional disconnection, or healing from a toxic relationship, this kind of dynamic can be the breaking point. Today, we're going to talk about 4 ways you can protect your energy, set healthy emotional boundaries, and keep your sanity when dealing with a narcissistic in-law. Whether you're trying to hold your marriage together or you're healing from a toxic past, these strategies can help you take back control of your peace. Let's start with one of the most important things. Stop trying to win their approval. Narcissists feed off control, praise, and attention, especially when they can manipulate others into seeking it. If you keep trying to explain yourself, prove your worth, or earn their respect, you're falling into their trap. You don't need their validation. In fact, chasing it just gives them more power over your emotions. Remind yourself, their opinion of you does not define your truth. Another key strategy is to strengthen the boundary between your marriage and your in-laws' influence. This means having clear, respectful, and firm conversations with your spouse about what's acceptable and what's not. It's not about creating division, it's about creating protection. When your partner understands how much this dynamic affects you, it opens the door for mutual support instead of resentment. Sometimes that's the start of real change. And that leads us directly into our next point. So, once you've started having honest conversations with your spouse about the in-law dynamic, the next step is to set and enforce emotional boundaries consistently. And I know, just hearing the word boundaries can feel heavy, especially if you've been raised in a family where speaking up was seen as disrespectful or selfish. But setting boundaries isn't about being rude. It's about protecting your peace and defining what you will and will not accept. If your narcissistic in-law constantly shows up uninvited, makes passive-aggressive comments, or tries to pit family members against one another, it's not enough to hope it stops on its own. You have to name the behavior and decide what the consequence is if it continues. That might mean limiting visits, stepping away from certain conversations, or asking your spouse to speak on your behalf in situations where you know your voice won't be heard, or worse, will be twisted. It's also crucial to remember that boundaries are only as strong as your willingness to maintain them. Narcissists are experts at testing limits, especially when they sense that you're starting to take your power back. So don't be surprised if things get more intense at first. That's a sign your boundaries are working. Stay firm, stay calm, and remind yourself, this is not about punishing anyone. It's about creating the emotional safety you deserve. Another powerful mindset shift? Stop expecting fairness. I know that sounds harsh, but narcissistic people rarely play by the rules of mutual respect or empathy. They might never apologize, never admit wrongdoing, and never see your side, no matter how gently you present it. If you keep waiting for them to change or acknowledge the pain they've caused, you'll stay stuck in a cycle of disappointment. Instead, start shifting your focus to what you can control: your reactions, your choices, and your space. When you stop expecting the narcissist to act with decency and start choosing peace over justice, you give yourself the freedom to let go of the emotional tug-of-war. And that brings us to our final strategy, which might be the most freeing one yet. One of the most powerful things you can do when dealing with a narcissistic in-law is to detach emotionally. That doesn't mean you stop caring about your family, or that you shut down and become cold. It means you stop allowing their behavior to control your internal world. Emotional detachment is about protecting your peace, especially when logic, empathy, and fairness don't seem to exist in the conversation. This can look like not reacting when they push your buttons. It can mean choosing silence when they bait you into a debate. It means recognizing that their drama, their projections, and their manipulation are not yours to carry. Because here's the truth: narcissists thrive on reactions. The more you react, whether it's anger, tears, defensiveness, they feel powerful. But when you respond with calm clarity, or even better, non-engagement, you take that power back. If you're already navigating a marriage strained by betrayal or emotional disconnect, the last thing you need is someone constantly lighting emotional fires behind the scenes. Emotional detachment is your shield. It says, I see what you're doing, but I'm not giving you space in my head or heart anymore. And for those of you who've gone through a divorce or are healing from toxic family ties, this principle applies just as strongly. You're not obligated to continue entertaining people who refuse to respect you, even if they share your last name. You can choose distance. You can choose silence. You can choose you. So let's take a breath here. If any of this has hit home for you, if you've cried in your car after family gatherings, or laid awake at night replaying another manipulative interaction, you're not alone. So many people are silently struggling with narcissistic in-laws and blaming themselves for the chaos. But it's not your fault. You don't have to fix them. You don't have to make them understand. You just have to protect your peace. You are allowed to draw the line, even if others don't like where you draw it. And if this resonated with you, I'd love for you to share your experience in the comments. What have you done to set boundaries? How have you protected your energy? Let's create a space where people don't have to pretend everything's okay when it's not. And if you found this helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who might be silently battling the same thing. You deserve peace, you deserve clarity, and you deserve to protect your energy, starting now.